Shohei Ohtani crushed a home run on the very first pitch he saw. The Dodgers built a lead, then lost it, built it again, then lost it again. And in the 8th inning, Dominic Canzone, for the second time in one night, silenced Dodger Stadium with one swing. 3 one-run leads. All 3 surrendered. 3 double plays at the worst possible moments. The Mariners walked out of Los Angeles with a 7-6 victory. And the story of this game is one of the most frustrating losses the Dodgers have had all season. Let's break it all down right now. Welcome back to Baseball Tribune, the fastest, most accurate source for MLB news, analysis, and everything happening in the world of baseball. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe and turn on that notification bell immediately, because we are here every single day covering the biggest stories in the sport and you do not want to miss what we have coming up. Tonight we are breaking down the series opener between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Seattle Mariners at Dodger Stadium, a game that had everything. Shohei Ohtani ending his home run drought with a leadoff blast in the first inning. 5 Mariners home runs, including 2 from Dominic Canzone. The Dodgers blowing 3 separate one-run leads. A heart-stopping 9th inning comeback attempt that came up 1 run short. And a final score of 7-6 in favor of Seattle that leaves Los Angeles with real questions heading into the rest of this homestand. We have the complete game breakdown, every key moment, and the context that makes this loss matter. Stay with us the whole way through. Let's get into it. The Dodgers arrived back at Dodger Stadium for the first time since before the All-Star break, coming off a 9-game road trip that went 6-3. They returned home with reinforcements. Utility man Enrique Hernandez was activated from the injured list ahead of this series, and closer Edwin Diaz was expected to make his return on Wednesday. Left-hander Blake Snell was also reported to be close to coming back from his own elbow procedure. For the Dodgers, this homestand represented a chance to get healthy, get right, and start playing the kind of dominant baseball their roster is built for. The Seattle Mariners were the first opponent standing in the way of that, a team sitting in the middle of the American League West with a collective batting average of just .230, one of the worst offensive numbers in the majors. On paper, this looked like an ideal matchup to get the homestand started the right way. But baseball does not get played on paper. And what happened inside Dodger Stadium on Tuesday night was anything but easy. The pitching matchup featured Justin Wrobleski for the Dodgers, an all-star this season with a 2.62 ERA and just 8 home runs allowed in 107 innings coming into the game, against Luis Castillo for Seattle. Wrobleski had been one of the best starters in the National League during the first half. But on this night, the Mariners were about to do something to him that almost nobody had managed all year long. The game had not even started before the biggest moment of the night arrived. Shohei Ohtani stepped into the batter's box to lead off the bottom of the first inning against Luis Castillo. He had not hit a home run in 9 consecutive games, his longest drought of the entire season, and the questions about his left knee and his ability to generate power at the plate had been building all week. On a 2-strike count, Ohtani did not flinch. He turned on an opposite field pitch from Castillo and drove it over the wall, a solo home run, his 23rd of the season, that traveled even farther than the 433-foot blast Dominic Canzone would hit later in the game. The ball exploded off his bat, sailed to the opposite field with authority, and landed in the seats to give the Dodgers an immediate 1-0 lead. Dodger Stadium erupted. And for the first time in 9 games, Ohtani raised his arm in celebration as he rounded the bases. It was exactly the kind of moment the Dodgers needed from their superstar. A statement swing. A confidence-restoring blast that showed the power has not left him, it had simply been waiting. Dave Roberts had said all week that he believed Ohtani would find his swing. In the very first at-bat of the homestand, Ohtani proved him right. But the lead that home run created would not last long. Cal Raleigh stepped into the batter's box in the top of the 2nd inning and answered Ohtani's home run immediately with one of his own, a solo shot off Wrobleski that tied the game at 1-1. For a pitcher who had allowed just 8 home runs all season before this game, it was an early warning sign that was about to become a very serious pattern. In the bottom of the 3rd, the Dodgers had a chance to regain control and do real damage. Dalton Rushing led off with a double. Ohtani was intentionally walked, a sign of respect from the Mariners that also loaded the bases when Andy Pages followed with a single to center field. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Luis Castillo facing the heart of the Dodgers order. The stadium was buzzing. This looked like the inning that would put the game away early. Freddie Freeman grounded into a double play. 1 run scored, the Dodgers took a 2-1 lead, but the bases loaded, nobody out situation that should have produced a big inning instead produced only 1 run and 2 outs. It was the first of 3 double plays the Dodgers would hit into on the night, and it set a painful tone for how the offense would handle its biggest moments throughout the game. The Mariners turned the game upside down in the fourth inning. Julio Rodríguez, one of the most dangerous young hitters in the American League, hit a solo home run off Wrobleski to tie the game at 2-2. And before the inning was over, Rob Refsnyder, who had come off the injured list just that afternoon, stepped to the plate and drove a 2-run home run into the seats, giving Seattle a 4-2 lead. 3 home runs. 3 separate pitches. And Justin Wrobleski, who had been one of the most reliable arms in baseball during the first half of the season, was suddenly facing a deficit he had not expected to be in. The Dodgers did not fold. And what followed in the fourth and fifth innings was some of the best defensive baseball Los Angeles played all game long. In the bottom of the fourth, Mookie Betts opened the rally with a single to center field. Tommy Edman capitalized immediately with a well-placed RBI double that cut the Mariners' lead to 4-3 and put runners in position for the heart of the order. Kyle Tucker drew a walk. Dalton Rushing followed with a single to right field, loading the bases with 1 out and bringing Shohei Ohtani to the plate in the most important situation of the inning. Ohtani delivered. He lined a single to center field that scored Edman and tied the game at 4-4. The stadium was back on its feet. The Dodgers had completely erased the 2-run deficit and pulled themselves level. And then Muncy put them back in front. Leading off the bottom of the fifth, Muncy drove a solo home run into the seats to give the Dodgers a 5-4 lead. It was Muncy at his most dangerous, taking advantage of a moment of momentum and adding to the lead with 1 clean swing. The Dodgers had now answered every Mariners punch with one of their own, and with Wrobleski still on the mound and the bullpen yet to be tested, Los Angeles appeared to be in control. For those keeping count at home, the Dodgers had now built a 1-run lead for the 3rd time in the game. The first 2 times they had failed to protect it. What happened next would determine whether this one would be different. Dominic Canzone had already had a memorable night before the 6th inning even began. But what he did over the final 3 innings of this game will be talked about by Mariners fans for a long time. In the 6th inning, with the Dodgers clinging to their 5-4 lead, Canzone stepped in and hit a 433-foot home run. A massive, towering blast that silenced Dodger Stadium in an instant. The ball traveled deep into center field and tied the game at 5-5. Just like that, the Dodgers' 3rd 1-run lead of the night was gone. For Justin Wrobleski, it was the 4th home run he had allowed on the night, in a game where he had come in having allowed just 8 across his first 107 innings of the season. 4 home runs in 1 start. That is a number that tells you everything about what kind of night it was for the Dodgers pitching staff. The Dodgers bullpen could not hold the line either. Reliever Alex Vesia came on in the 8th inning with the game tied at 5 and was immediately put in a difficult situation. Julio Rodríguez singled and stole second base, putting himself in scoring position with 1 out. And then Canzone stepped up for the 2nd time in the game. He hit another one. A 414-foot fly ball to center field, his 18th home run of the season, scoring Rodríguez and giving Seattle a 7-5 lead. 2 home runs in 1 game for Canzone. 5 home runs total for the Mariners on the night. And the Dodgers, who had led 3 separate times, were now trailing by 2 runs with 6 outs remaining. The Dodgers were not finished. And the 9th inning gave everyone inside Dodger Stadium one final moment of heart-pounding hope. Seattle closer Andrés Muñoz, one of the best closers in the American League, going for his 19th save of the season, came on to finish the game. But the Dodgers made him work for it. Dalton Rushing led off the 9th with an infield single, giving Los Angeles a base runner immediately. Shohei Ohtani was next. And for the 2nd time on the night, he delivered in the biggest moment. He drove a double to right field, a ball that was misplayed by Seattle defensive replacement Victor Robles, who had just entered the game. Rushing came around to score on the misplay, cutting the deficit to 7-6, and Ohtani wound up standing on third base with nobody out and the tying run 90 feet away. Dodger Stadium was deafening. The comeback was 1 hit away from being complete. But Muñoz steadied himself. Andy Pages stepped in and struck out, a costly out that removed the no-out situation and put immediate pressure on the hitters behind him. Freddie Freeman hit a ground ball toward first base, not hit sharply enough to score Ohtani from third. Muncy worked a walk, giving the Dodgers runners at first and third with 2 outs and Mookie Betts coming to the plate. Betts hit a ground ball to shortstop. The Mariners completed the routine play. And just like that, it was over. Final score, Seattle Mariners 7, Los Angeles Dodgers 6. When you step back and look at the full statistical picture of this game, the story is clear. The Dodgers hit 3 double plays on the night, 3 separate situations where they had runners on base and failed to convert, instead killing potential big innings with one swing. In their most critical bases-loaded situation of the game, top of the third, nobody out, Freddie Freeman at the plate, they scored 1 run instead of potentially 3 or 4. Wrobleski allowed 4 home runs in 6 innings to a Mariners lineup that came into the game hitting just .230 as a team. That is the kind of performance that does not happen often, and it cost the Dodgers dearly on a night when the offense was actually working hard to keep them in it. And yet, despite all of that, the Dodgers still had the tying run on third base with nobody out in the 9th inning of a game they trailed by 2 runs entering the frame. That is a testament to how dangerous this lineup is, even on a night when nothing was going right for the pitching staff and the team was hitting into double plays at the worst possible moments. Ohtani's night deserves particular recognition. He finished with a home run, an RBI single and an RBI double, 3 separate hits, 3 separate contributions and 3 separate high-pressure situations. After 9 games without a home run, he came home to Dodger Stadium and hit one on the first pitch he saw. His knee is still not ready for the mound, and his overall offensive numbers are still below his historic pace from last season. But on Tuesday night, Shohei Ohtani was the best player on the field. The Dodgers just could not get enough from the players around him to win the game. Let us take a moment to put Ohtani's performance tonight into its proper context, because it matters for how we understand where he is heading as the season moves into August. Going into tonight's game, Ohtani had gone 9 consecutive games without a home run. His batting average since the All-Star break was .184. Manager Dave Roberts had publicly acknowledged that the quality of his contact had dropped considerably. Questions were everywhere about whether his left knee was silently taking away the explosive power that makes him the most feared hitter in the game. Tonight answered some of those questions, but not all of them. The home run on the first pitch of the game was genuine. It was opposite field, it was authoritative, and it traveled farther than almost anything else that happened all night. That is not the swing of a hitter whose power is gone. That is the swing of a player who is working his way back to full form. The RBI single in the 4th and the 9th inning double were also genuine contributions, clutch moments where Ohtani stepped up and delivered exactly what the Dodgers needed from him. But his knee situation remains unchanged. He did not pitch. His bullpen session timeline is still unclear. Dave Roberts has made it clear that Ohtani will not return to the mound until his knee feels 100%, and that standard has not yet been met. The Dodgers head into the August 3rd trade deadline knowing they may need to add starting pitching depth to cover for however long Ohtani remains unavailable on the mound. The positive sign from tonight is that when Ohtani is healthy and locked in at the plate, he is still the most dangerous hitter in baseball. The home run drought is over. Now the question is whether he can sustain it. Here is the bottom line from Tuesday night at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers lost a game they led 3 times. Their starter gave up 4 home runs to one of the weakest defensive teams in baseball. Their bullpen could not protect a 1-run lead in the 6th inning. And their offense, despite generating 11 hits and working hard all game long, grounded into 3 double plays and left too many runners stranded in situations where they needed runs. Those are real problems. And they need real solutions before October. But here is what also happened on Tuesday night. Shohei Ohtani hit his 23rd home run of the season and ended a 9-game drought. He drove in 2 runs and put his team in a position to win in the 9th inning. Edwin Diaz is expected back on Wednesday. Blake Snell is close to returning. The trade deadline is August 3rd and the Dodgers are expected to add bullpen and rotation depth before it closes. The Dodgers are still the best team in the National League. They are still the favorites to represent the senior circuit in the World Series. One loss, even a frustrating one like this, does not change that. What needs to change is how the bullpen protects leads. And that answer is coming very soon. That is all for today. If you made it this far, smash that like button, subscribe to Baseball Tribune, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. Drop a comment below. Are you worried about the Dodgers bullpen, or do you think they will fix it before the deadline? We want to hear from you. Share this with every Dodgers fan you know. We will see you in the next one right here on Baseball Tribune.